Oh, yeah, Zach, you've never seen that one, have you?
No.
He hasn't seen it yet.
No. Hey.
Wait.
Oh, here it is.
Oh.
Here, Joel.
Hey,
Is it here, darling?
Coffee. Like we need more caffeine.
Hey.
But thank you though. All right. Welcome to episode 102. All the most must-see show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves or any airwaves. East, south, north, south, northwest, southwest, east, west, west, east.
All around the bloody world.
All around the world. We are the Wrestling Connection. I'm your host, as always, your pontiff of professional wrestling, the professor of the mat, Mr. Ken Hill, alongside me, as, well, almost always, Mr. Zach Martinkus, the future, the body of professional wrestling, and, of course, Mr. Jumpin' J himself, Mr. Julian Warren. Yeah, that's right, folks. The trio are here, and we're kicking off season 3, year 3, whatever you want to call it, of the Wrestling Connection in a big way.
Oh, yeah. Believe the hype. And we can't help but be awesome. They're gorgeous. Be jealous.
And a word from our sponsors today. Welcome to the show. So this week we come with happiness, but also we come with heavy hearts. But I will leave that up to the host to present why we have a heavy heart today.
Okay, well, we'll get into the heavy-hearted stuff a little bit later. We kick things off with This Week in Review. All right, so now, much like last week, we kicked things off not with another 20-minute Triple H promo, but with what we want. Well, okay, we did have Stephanie McMahon, so I guess we're halfway right. But you had...
Because we're halfway there.
We're halfway there. we had Stephanie overseeing the contract signing for the triple threat main event match at Fastlane, featuring Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. The winner going on to face, of course, her lovely trophy husband and WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. Now, of course, much like about 99.9999999% of all contract signings in the WWE, this went awry.
Yep.
And as soon as the contract was signed, of course, Dean Ambrose was up in Lesnar's face. Lesnar tossed Dean all the way, halfway across the ring, all the way over the table into Roman Reigns. And he would slam the table into Roman Reigns.
Oh my gosh, he's flying!
He's flying!
It's a flying lunatic!
It's a flying lunatic, yes. Yeah.
Figuratively, not literally, but
Yes.
you know what I mean.
Thank you for explaining the joke, Ted Turner. All right, so anyway, Lesnar and afterwards with F5 Ambrose for the second straight week, leaving. You guys are having fun with the camera angles this week, aren't you?
Another camera angle.
Whew.
Oh my gosh, picture that. Look at that pretty face right there. And over here.
Over here. Okay.
We're just trying to keep you on your toes, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm the only one keeping on top of this, so you guys are losing.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
I'm poking his face.
It's a good thing.
Poke.
Keep me on my
Poke.
toes. I could use the workout.
Poke.
All right. So anyway, like I said, Ambrose would not take this lying down. Planned on calling out Brock Lesnar. Not the wisest career choice I would recommend.
Yeah.
But it would actually turn out all more fruitful. Ambrose actually telling Reigns, I don't want your help. This is something I gotta do on my own. I gotta see if I can stand up to the beast. I want a piece of the beast. Called out Lesnar with every which way he could.
Yeah, and
Which way
literally
did he go?
called him out on every single point.
Question
and
his
even-
question his integrity. Question his
Manhood.
Let's just say his testicular fortitude.
Manhood, and that,
In
of course,
the most polite way possible.
yes. And of course, that brought out the beast and whatnot. And as usual, Brock Lesnar, beat the ever-living bejesus out of Ambrose, gave him an F5 once again, and you figure, this would be the end of it. Yeah.
Ambrose was crawling. He basically just told Lesnar, in the words of The Rock, bring it back. I still want a piece of you, even though Ambrose was essentially dead to rights.
Uh-huh.
And then here comes Reigns because he couldn't stand to see anymore.
Yeah.
But it turns out that all Reigns would just serve as a necessary distraction. Ambrose laying out Lesnar with a big time low blow, proving that the Beast is not completely infallible.
Time out for example. Hey, what's
better
that?
Yet, though, even more
What's
even
that?
indestructible, or even more, or even
I'm down,
more.
man, down.
You know, it just goes to show you. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that can happen in a triple threat. Because I mean, of course, anybody that doesn't know, triple threat means no disqualifications, no countouts. It's anything goes. So pretty much, what we're seeing back here, it can happen a lot.
It's it's true, but
Just be careful because you don't want to be seeing anything like this come into a match because that's a problem that happened in triple threats. Very common too.
All of this is serving to do is trying to dissuade us from the notion that Reigns is going to come out on top of this at Fastlane.
Yeah,
and I appreciate the effort to try and put this. They're trying to put the fact that they're even having Ambrose stand tall over Lesnar, even in a segment like this. They're going out of their way to show that he can be on equal footing with Reigns and Lesnar. But it's a foregone conclusion here.
Yeah.
We all know what the outcome is going to be. They're not going to differentiate. Vince is not going to go for the third straight year saying, I think I might have gone a little overboard with this, and I'll change things up. That's not how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I doubt it. To be honest, everybody knows. So, Ambrose, he's not going to make the top. He's not going to be able to make. There is no way he's going to main event against Triple H. There's no way.
Yeah.
The guy can't cut it with him. We could already see it happening. It's really between Lesnar and Reigns, but everybody's making the prediction it's going to be Reigns. You don't even know if it might have. Even Lesnar might win this for crying out loud.
Well, that's the other thing. I'll get to in a little bit.
Okay.
Actually, we'll go right away into the next one. You see, we had Bray Wyatt going up against Ryback. Now,
No, he is. No, you're good. You're good.
yeah, Bray Wyatt going up against Ryback. Bray's been making a lot of noise about how he's proclaimed himself as the new Zeus, the god of God, the king of the gods. He's essentially slaying all the titans that step in his way, which is the first feasible promo that we've heard from Bray in God knows how long.
Yeah, no kidding.
And forever. And he took on Ryback this week. He actually beat him with relative ease, and with lack of interference from the Wyatt family. But then things got out of control. The Wyatt family would just lay into Ryback afterwards. Ryback sporting his new "I'm not Goldberg" attire.
Yeah, and could you make it any more obvious he's trying to support the same gig that he did back in 2010?
Pretty much, yeah.
Skip Sheffield.
Yeah. All right. So, and like I said, Wyatt family lays out Ryback after the match. Bray hits another Sister Abigail on the floor, and much like they do with a number of their fallen opponents, carry him from ringside, our Lord and Savior. Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so he's done with Kane. He's done this with Big Show. He's done this with Ryback, and Smart Money says that we're looking at a 6-man tag team match here with Strowman, Rowan, and Harper taking on the Titans in Ryback, Big Show, and Kane, which would be a serviceable undercard match. It wouldn't be but that would be
Big Show.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
If there's ever one constant in the WK universe, it's Greg's
Me
man
being the
crush
champ.
on the Big Show.
Yeah, and Mrs. don't want to be concerned about that.
Oh my gosh, I just figured it out. It would make sense because if Bray Wyatt is self-supposed saying that he's going after all the Titans, he's pretty much going after the top big man. We're talking about Big Show, we're talking about Ryback, we're talking about Brock Lesnar. Who's to say that it first starts out with a 6-man?
Hold on. He's going after Big Show. He's gone after Kane. He's taking out Ryback. Who's the top big monster in the WWE right now?
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was getting to about the triple threat match. You see, this is actually all tying in very well. This is why I like how they're building a Fastlane. They're not making it just another transitional show to WrestleMania. They're having storylines leading up to Fastlane that will bleed over into WrestleMania, which there is a difference. All right, so I mean, you have Wyatt saying he wants to take down. He's the king of the gods. He's taking on the biggest titan. He's taking on all the titans. There's going to be one big titan left, and that's going to be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So you could, I mean, if you have all three Wyatt family members here, you don't have Bray Wyatt at ringside. You wonder, okay, what are they going to do with Wyatt? Then, lo and behold, here he is, all with the Wyatt family in tow. They lay out Lesnar, knock him out of the triple threat match, and as he's closing in on victory, and of course Roman picks up the win over either Lesnar or Ambrose, more likely Ambrose.
Yeah.
And of course, then we get our Wyatt Lesnar match. Although, given how easily Lesnar mows through the undercard roster, the mid-card roster, I mean, is it a match that we really want to see? I mean, does it have it has potential, but it's one that we really want to see. And actually, I want to go to Brian on this. I mean, Brian, do you see the potential for a Wyatt Lesnar feud, or do you feel like that WWE is just kind of flailing right here as far as making matches for WrestleMania?
You mean for WrestleMania?
I mean,
yeah, I think that's been the plan for a while now. I think we saw the beginnings of that at the Royal Rumble.
Right.
You know, when they all came in and they cheated, I guess. I mean, you can't really cheat at Royal Rumble, but when they were eliminated, then came back in and then got rid of Lesnar. Yeah,
well,
I totally think they're setting.
That's essentially what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. So they're totally setting that up for WrestleMania. Although I think, like I said last week, or it's actually this week because we filmed 2 episodes this week, I said that I would have loved to see the Ambrose and Lesnar feud, continue on to WrestleMania. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this triple threat match is going to be broken up by the Wyatt family for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And they're going to cost Lesnar the title.
Right.
Either that, or they just put the Ambrose Lesnar feud on hold until like another time where it would serve purpose for those two to feud.
Yeah, because I mean, you can always have
absolutely.
You can always have a little bit of a tease here. Okay, triple threat matches are meant to tease one-on-one encounters. So they could do they could do a triple threat match here. They could come back to Ambrose and Lesnar at a later time. Technical difficulties here at the Wrestling Connection.
Yes, please
Right.
stand by.
Okay, who's
Ah,
ooh, ouch.
like nails on a chalkboard.
Ah, okay.
You okay there, Mo?
Yeah, we're good. It's all
everyone
good.
good?
All right, we're all
Thumbs
good.
up if you're
All
good.
good. Sorry for technical difficulties there, folks. Anyway, all right, so moving on from that. I mean, like I said, Lesnar and Ambrose, like I said, they could revisit that at a later time, like at Extreme Rules or a Battleground or SummerSlam. Anytime they really want to come back to it, they can.
Yeah.
And it can be guaranteed that it will be an awesomely physical match because much like with Ambrose and Owens, you got a hard-hitting opponent in Lesnar and who will look like a fantastic physical foil for Dean Ambrose.
Right, and of course, everybody knows with Dean Ambrose. I mean, we all saw with that last-minute standing match at the Royal Rumble.
He keeps getting up. He keeps getting up. He keeps getting up. Okay, I would love to see that kind of determination going up against someone like Lesnar, who took down another virtual WWE Iron Man in John Cena, like that.
Exactly. I mean, literally brought him to Suplex City and just
Yep.
and not John Cena, out of the main event picture. So,
But guys, do you remember a little blast from the past? Vengeance 2003. Do you see the correlation in that? Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Big Show. Doesn't that remind you of like the next generation of who's going to be the top stars for the WWE Championship picture?
I would not go comparing Roman Reigns to Kurt Angle on Roman's best day.
yeah.
Roman or The Rock.
Yeah.
All right, Roman's still got a ways to go before he can really put himself in the shoes of his cousin The Rock.
I mean,
Exactly.
Kurt Angle was an Olympic gold
He
medalist.
was Olympic.
wrestler.
Yeah, he's an
the
Olympic
only-
I
gold
mean,
medalist.
Roman Reigns is just a football player who transferred into
Yeah.
wrestling.
So there's Julian, there's no
No comparison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
I understand the
All right.
triple threat scenario, and that was one of the better triple threat matches in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is a whole different
Right.
animal.
Ball game.
Yeah, ball game. All
Right,
right, so rolling on. Brian,
Yes.
sorry.
Next one.
So a few of these photos actually aren't working. The sixth photo
yeah.
isn't working. This one is the seventh.
Oh, okay.
so-
Actually,
Okay,
I don't know
this,
what the
oh,
sixth
this was
was.
one of my
So
favorite
this
ones.
is fun. Miss TV transitioning, segueing mid segment into the highlight reel with the overly expensive Geratron 75 cajillion million billion.
Yep.
Obviously more tech than we could ever possibly afford here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
But-
In due time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the way how this started out was originally, Miz was hosting, of course, Miz TV with Chris Jericho and whatnot, though. But, it just, I mean, we're all getting sick and tired of Miz TV, though, and thank you, Chris Jericho, for bringing back the highlight reel, and that's exactly what he did. Of course, Miz, him being, it's all about the money maker and whatnot. It's all gotta be about me.
Yeah, he tried sticking his nose into the feud between Jericho and AJ. Jericho and Styles would have none of that, sending Missy outside, and AJ cleared the ring of Jericho as well, and they basically said that I'll show you that I am truly phenomenal. Now, I'm 80% on board with what they're doing with the booking here for AJ. They gave him an extended time in the Royal Rumble. They've paired him up with Jericho, who is a legend and a former multi-time champion in his own right, and they've built him up as such, mentioning his incredible resume.
Yeah,
And-
9-time Intercontinental Champion, still holds the record to this day. Six-time world champion.
First ever undisputed champion. So obviously, the fact that AJ can go toe to toe with someone like this builds him up even more, and can stand on even footing with Jericho, gives him that. And even the loss he had this last night on SmackDown to Jericho in a hard-fought match.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been a big fan of the 50-50 booking. That's where, like I said, the 80% comes in. 20%, I didn't like that, okay? It should have been another shocking loss for Jericho. He gets even more incensed, and then we kind of have like I don't know if I would even say a gimmick match, even just maybe like a street fight or some sort of no DQ match.
Right.
Really just to put a sense of finality on it, but not so much that they can't come back to it at a later time. They can't
Right.
revisit it.
Right.
down the line.
The only thing they really did, though, was, it's one match apiece and whatnot. They got to have a rubber match. So, of course, we're just curious about how they're going to roll with this. They might do it at Fastlane, they might do it at Raw or SmackDown. We don't know. We are just about 2 weeks away from Fastlanes.
Right, little over a week from Fastlane. So, clearly we're looking at the rubber match here. I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
are looking forward to it. I know Brian's looking forward to it. But yeah. All right. Could Miz factor in somewhere here? Brian talked about how he could be a special referee. He could be on commentary for the match, or it could very well be a triple threat match. I would just strictly keep this to AJ versus Jericho.
Yeah, because it would just... Yeah.
It would just dilute the notion of AJ going over Jericho.
And plus,
Apparently, Cena can do the splits.
Dear God.
John Cena is Spider-Man.
Or John Cena is Melina.
Or cheerleader.
Because according to Greg's logic, they have similar rhyming names. That means John Cena must be able to do the splits.
Oh, Lord.
Simple.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God! I used Greg logic. Someone. Ugh. Okay. I need to be clean.
Never again.
Thank you. Never again.
Never again.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay.
Moving on. All right. Okay. So now we come to. Yes, we come to the
Oh,
we come
God.
to the main event. This cracked me up, but I'm just thinking. This is where at the point where I think Henry needs to retire. He just needs to go.
I was just horrified. When they first, mentioned this and whatnot, I'm thinking, oh, okay.
Okay,
If it's Fandango, that's one. Fandango was his name. Oh, I'm sorry, but just really, okay. Look, I get it. The guy used to be known as Sexual Chocolate, but
he can
why?
And he can dance. He can bust a move. Again, why?
For God's sakes, this
I
guy
mean,
was a former
seriously, if this-
European and world heavyweight champion and
Ser- ser-
ECW
serious-
champion. Why? Oh,
Calm down.
oh
Take a
God, so much.
It's not real.
I know, just so much stupidity. There's so much I can take on stupidity before I get driven nuts.
It's probably a good thing you were gone for the past 20, 30 episodes.
Hey.
You probably would have. No, trust me, man. We probably would have had to have you committed. There's so much stupidity.
Yeah.
So much stupidity.
He actually has a point.
Yeah.
But just
Trust me.
it's just
you-
this was just.
Let me put it
completely
this way: you probably would have broken this over your head at probably through episode 70. You would have been like,
You kidding me though? I could probably I could be taking so
Yeah.
many hits from that though. I probably wouldn't feel. I still wouldn't feel a thing.
nope. All right.
So.
But is it being like
anywho,
UJ getting
So
killed?
to get to the
Yeah.
point on this,
Get the
so
point. It was
yes.
an eight-man tag team table match, not like the elimination table match at TLC, but simply first man to go through a table, that team loses. So you had Mark Henry and the New Day going up against the Dudley Boys and the Usos. This tables match really seemingly came out of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah.
unlike the last tables match where it had some build-up, here
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of came out of nowhere, and then we'd find out why. It was the start of something different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now. It went the way we expected. Dudley's and Usos had some fun with the New Day and Henry. They eventually would get the win, putting Biggie through a table with a 3D.
But actually, you forgot one other point on that. Mark Henry in the middle of the match, though, he actually ding dong ditched the New Day.
Exactly. He just said, forget this. I'm gone. Essentially, the honorary unicorn trotted on out.
Which, thank you, Henry, for that, though, because
He rode off into the sunset.
Go west, old Henry.
yes.
Okay.
But
so
yes. But anywho, towards the end of the match, so we thought, this is
there was another injury with Jey Uso. He seemingly had injured his leg again.
shocker,
And,
shocker.
and the Dudleys were trying to convalesce with the Usos, trying to celebrate the victory, only for Bubba and Devon to lay out the Usos, shockingly, and then Cap hit it 3D on Jimmy, and it capped things off by putting an injured Jay through the table with a classic Bubba Ray super bomb.
Exactly, and then of all things that we found out that on last night on SmackDown, that they have supported they support the tables. One, when everybody
for
chanted
you-
the
for you.
tables and whatnot, though
But
they
n-
wanted this. But however, they said it was enough. They clearly said they've had enough. No, in Dudleyville tables, no more.
Outlawed, prohibited.
Yeah.
It is the era of prohibition in Dudleyville. No more tables.
Yeah, which here, guys. They were the masters of the tables, for God's sakes. And it's just to hearing this, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
But that was the whole point of their promo. That the Dudley, ever since they came back, it was all about, okay, who are they putting through a table? We want tables. We want tables. Not let's go Devon. Let's go Bubba. That was the focal point of their promo on SmackDown. Is that basically they've been seen as the fans in reality that we saw them as a nostalgia act. Brian and I talked about this. Was that the Dudley Boys were a little more than a nostalgia act since the return. It was all about getting to tables. It was all about putting the New Day through tables. It was all about putting the Ascension through tables. It wasn't about Bubba. It wasn't about Devon. It wasn't about the fact that they were historically awesome tag team. They came back to WWE not because they were a nostalgia act, because they wanted to add to their legacy already legendary. They wanted to add to their legacy. That was the whole point of their promo, essentially being that now they're the Dudley Boys of old. Now they're going to be no nonsense, no holds barred, and they're going to take it to every team who thinks that they're nothing more than nostalgia act. So I actually welcome the twist here to the Dudley Boys. I like it. It gives us it gives us a fresh heel tag team. Gives us a seemingly rejuvenated Devon and a Bubba Ray who's seemingly going back to his
Aces and eights.
bully roots. For anyone who's actually watched TNA during that drawn out Aces and Eights saga.
But you can't deny though. They were. They weren't. I was gonna say that, they weren't really great, but they were
No.
decent.
Right. Long story short, Bubba Ray cultivated his own singles career down in TNA, a former TNA heavyweight champion, and really reinvented himself along with his brother Devon. So we're seeing shades of that. We're seeing the beginnings of that here, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I mean, I think this would be interesting though, because I mean, I agree with you on all your points and whatnot. And
yeah.
let's just so.
All right. So moving on. We come to this week's edition of Dirt Sheet Dilemma, and for some reason we're focused.
Oh wait, actually, you forgot one more thing though. For Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I know. We're getting to Daniel Bryan. We're saving Daniel Bryan for
Let's
last.
let's do the Daniel Bryan thing first. We're already at like a half hour. This will take a long time, I feel like.
All right. Okay, so the heavy-hearted that we were alluding to was that Daniel Bryan this past week formally announced his retirement from professional wrestling. Now, all of you know the coverage we've been doing over the last few weeks. It was indicated that simply that WWE had not cleared Daniel Bryan, that he had gotten clearance from every doctor, every college physician, every doctor he could find who all cleared him. But then it wasn't until he went in for EEG testing that he found out that the concussions that he had suffered throughout his career, stemming from when he was 18 years old, had taken their toll. We found out on his ESPN segment with Jonathan Coachman that he had actually been suffering seizures, which he hadn't told anyone about. So ultimately, this all added up to Bryan making the very painful but logically sound and safety-wise the best decision for Daniel Bryan. Not the best decision for wrestling fans, but the best decision for Daniel Bryan, for Brie Bella, ultimately for their friends and their family.
Right. I mean, for those, of course, anybody that's a sports, that's plays sports and whatnot, though, if you've had 3 concussions and whatnot, you can't do jack. We're talking about a guy, he's had concussions, left and right, for 16 years. I'm not all in agreement with it, though. It sucks, yeah, but I have to, I have to agree, with him and whatnot, though. It sucks, yeah, but, the fact that for 16 years, he's evolutionized, this business.
He came up as an indie star. Wrestling in backwater towns and gymnasiums and armories. Making it through the indie ranks and Ring of Honor, in New Japan, and coming here to WWE. Starting out as a quote unquote NXT rookie, when everyone already knew what he was capable of.
Right.
He started making waves in NXT season 1. He started making waves when he became a part of the
WWE.
of the infamous Nexus.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which was sadly short-lived due to his actions against then announcer Justin Roberts.
Right.
Then, like you said, he would come back, surprise to the shock of everyone, as part of Team WWE against the Nexus at SummerSlam.
Look at that photo. That was.
Yeah,
He did. He basically, knocked off like more than half of the members of Nexus.
Firmly establishing himself in the undercard of WWE. He would go on to win his first championship against his former mentor, The Miz, the United States Championship. He would then go on to win the 2011 Money in the Bank, which was phenomenal. Then shocking everyone, pinning the Big Show to win his very first World Heavyweight Championship, even though that would be short-lived going into wrestling. He would hold it for a few months before losing in the infamous 16-second match at WrestleMania. But it was a blessing in disguise, really, because that's really where things took off for Bryan, developing one of the most popular catchphrases in all of WWE history: the simple yes, and no. It just took off it just took off like crazy. Then later on you had the crazy heel in Bryan. And of course, who could match up better with Bryan than with of course, the equally crazy and insane Kane to form one of the most popular tag teams of the last decade,
Team Hell.
Team Hell No.
No.
Not to mention winning the tag team titles.
Right. I mean, defending them at WrestleMania. But Bryan, I mean, that was just a starter thing for Bryan. Even after Team Hell No disbanded, Bryan would end up being handpicked by John Cena to face him at SummerSlam in year 2013 for the WWE Championship. And against everything odd placed against him, it took one running knee for Bryan to make history, winning the WWE Championship.
Knee plus for the win.
Knee plus, which would only be the start of one of the most overarching, wonderfully built-up storylines of the last 5 years. Bryan's fight against the Authority. He would scratch, he would claw, he would kick, he would punch, he would tap out. He would do everything he could to pursue and never lost sight of the championship.
Right.
Until going so far as to hold Raw hostage take over Raw with with what became known as the Yes Movement. Then it capped everything off at WrestleMania, not only beating Triple H in a fantastically technical match, but upending Randy Orton and Batista in the main event to finally win the WWE World Championship in what was more breathtaking, more surreal, and heartwarming moments in WWE history that he had overcome so much. Admittedly, a month though it would be subverted, he would have to forfeit the championship due to unfortunate shoulder injury. But during that time, it wasn't just great for Bryan in the ring. Out of the ring, of course, he married Brie Bella. So 2014 was one of the better years for Bryan. He won the WWE World Championship at WrestleMania. He married Brie Bella. Of course, he had his share of tragedies. He lost his father that same year, but God rest his soul. But he never stopped fighting. Even when he was out injured, he wanted to come back as soon as he was cleared to, which is why he came back
The following year at WrestleMania to winning the Intercontinental Championship in a hellacious ladder match. It was phenomenal.
But then Bryan would once again go down to an unfortunate injury. In this case, a concussion. And re-injuring his shoulder, and everyone just waited month after month after month after month after month, hinging on whether Bryan would come back here, he would come back there, if he would when WWE would finally clear him to compete. But then, like I said,
we hear this, tragic of a news and whatnot. So just
exactly.
But we're never ever gonna forget, Daniel Bryan's great, his great achievements, and just the one word though, and I will take this to heart though for the rest of my life though, is showing how much gratitude he's had, for this business, gratitude for how much he's accomplished, for everything, whether it was small or big, so much gratitude, and that meant everything to him. So, Daniel Bryan, I just want to say, thank you, dude, and the gratitude goes right back at you, bro.
All right. I mean, Bryan. I know we're running on here, but I just wanted to get a few words from you. How do you feel about Bryan's retirement, and what do you feel like that means for the future of WWE? I mean, just short term and long term.
Well, first of all, I feel terrible for the guy. He was one of my favorite wrestlers, and he was always the scrappy underdog guy. He was like so relatable to the fans. He wasn't the biggest guy. He's not, this big macho, great looking guy. Yet he had this really beautiful wife. So, he could do it. He was the underdog. He got things done. He won. So WWE is going to need to find that guy that people can relate to, that the common man can relate to, because he really was like a blue collar wrestler. and it's hard to find guys like him. I'd like to see him hopefully stay involved in wrestling in some part. I'd love to see him maybe get an announcing gig, maybe take over for Byron Saxton, who has just been miserable lately, or have him a manager or something. But I think we'll be seeing more of Daniel Bryan. I don't think he's done. He might be done in the ring, but I don't think he's done with WWE.
Yeah, I think several articles have said that this is actually just more of a beginning for Bryan. I mean, not just in terms of what he could contribute to WWE, but wrestling in general, and not to mention, they talk about several articles talk about how the research into concussions is still in its infancy, and how Bryan could be, just like with Christopher Nowinski, could be a wonderful contributor to that. Because, I mean, if Bryan had kept competing like this, if he had kept competing with concussion after concussion after concussion,
it would have caused a lot of brain damage one night, or
and
worse.
and there could have been another situation, not exactly like it, but another situation similar, with all due respect, to the Chris Benoit situation.
Right.
Which is not something anyone would want.
No, not at all. So.
Especially for someone who's had, much like Benoit, has had a historic career like Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm. So.
All right.
But was there? Shoot, I just forgot what they were going to say.
Julian, did you have anything you want to weigh in on Daniel Bryan?
I'm just sitting here thinking about how much a guy starting out from the indies to being in the main event of WWE could endure through so much. We're talking taking beatings left and right in NXT, having no wins at all, but yet still being number one, then transitioning on to being the guy who took over the company with Nexus just to get kicked to the curb after one bad mistake, comes back, just practically earns his way up to United States Championship stardom, then Money in the Bank and all that. And I'm just thinking, it's like, if Daniel Bryan is so easy to do something like that and then be able to have a huge fan base with retirement, I know that guys like myself and my best friend Zach Martinez and the voice of the Wrestling Connection, Kenny Hill, can live up their dream as pro wrestlers. So Daniel Bryan, thank you for being a main influence for all three of our lives, because now we know what we have to do to get into the business.
Well said, Julian. Mm-hmm. Well said. All right, so moving on from that, we'll square things out for this week with an interesting segment of of Dirt Sheet Dilemma. Mm-hmm. This was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
When I saw this, as you know, Titus O'Neil, who's a very popular mid-carder in WWE, actually more known outside for his charity work, especially with the Boys and Girls Club, among others, was taking part in the post celebration for Daniel Bryan's retirement, and supposedly at one point, if you see right here, he actually kind of hugged, wrapped his arm around Vince, kind of like to try and pull him away, and it was something of a physical. It wasn't anything overtly physical about it. I mean, Ty was just being friendly. He was just caught up in the moment. But Vince took serious offense to that. I mean, we'd find out later that he was simply trying to pull Vince out of the way so Stephanie could exit first. You know, the whole chivalrous ladies first type deal, which isn't really bad in retrospect.
No.
I mean, but this was beyond ridiculous. We find out that Vince and WWE suspended Titus for 90 days. And what was the reason for this? It was so that they could prove a point to others who had supposedly been bordering the line on being unprofessional in WWE, even though no names would be named. Okay, it was because others were being seemingly unprofessional, and this was a warning shot to them that you need to wise up. Are you kidding me?
This was
Titus O'Neil, one of the greatest donors to charity that WWE's had in the last couple of years.
And didn't he win Father of the Year?
Father of the Year last year. And the whole reason that they silently broke up the primetime players was to start pushing Titus as a serious singles star. Okay, up until this point, fun little fact here, he'd been undefeated for 3 months. Okay, so it seemed like that they were trying to make a bigger big deal, Titus O'Neil, bum, and they just kind of cut his legs out from under him here. I mean, admittedly, they trimmed it back to 60 days, but even that's still an egregious punishment.
Yeah.
For supposedly getting in Vince's face, which couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's trying to be, being a polite, gentleman and all that, though. Really? Are you kidding me? And this is the kind of crap, though, that, us nice guys wonder how we get crapped on all the time. It's the truth. I hate to go, above and beyond on this, though, but women nowadays, they go for the wrong kind of guys and whatnot, and they wonder where the heck the nice guys are. Hello, right here. This is kind of, not in retrospect of it, though, but this is kind of a similar case to this. Titus tried to do the right thing and whatnot, and he gets crapped on by
Vince McMahon.
Yeah, so it just, I was completely shocked about this. I could not believe this. Vince just really, do you really have a bug up your rear end that bad though? That's waiting to tick off anytime soon. Really, dude.
This is just a microcosm of the notion that Vince needs to go.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's willing to suspend a relatively popular WWE superstar over a supposed slight like this past Monday is beyond ridiculous. And believe me, there's a lot that Vince has done in the last few years. In fact, the last 10, 15 years, that's ridiculous. This about tops all of it. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. I mean, Brian. I know we got to sign out.
Just had to do my little ode to the New Day and sign off. But you want my opinion on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it shows that Vince is just a control freak, and he doesn't respect his wrestlers. You'd think that, he could just man up and maybe just talk to him and, but
we're talking about
but he had to make this public too. And not only that, it's embarrassing to Titus O'Neil and he doesn't deserve it. He's a hard worker, he's a nice guy. It just speaks to Vince's character. It just shows that he's not really a nice person. That's just really what it comes down to. He's not a nice guy.
And if anything, it portrays Vince as badly alight as it does Titus. If anything, it degrades Vince just as much. And we're also, you want to talk about controlling? We're talking in respect to Vince McMahon. We're talking about a man who hates sneezing because it's the one thing he can't control.
Yeah, he hates sickness too.
Yeah.
Wow.
He also
doesn't believe in
too,
sickness.
This is the guy who goes on 3 hours of sleep. Talking from a night owl in yours truly, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, from all of this. So he probably lost a lot of sponsors and a lot of charitable events. When I would not be surprised about this. So Vince,
it might be jealousy.
There's going to be a lot of aftermath. There's going to be a lot of fallout from this.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, with the dirt sheet dilemma, we will keep you covered in the coming weeks.
So stay tuned.
All right. So in the meantime, folks, that is all for episode 102 of the Wrestling Connection. Next week, for episode 103, it will be the 2016 Fastlane Pay-Per Preview, where hopefully and most likely someone will try and unseat Mr. No longer almighty printer Greg Dolan.
Yep. Oh, thanks to Super Kick City.
Super Kick City. Exactly.
Yep. And so pretty much he
You're
will
welcome.
be defending the title as well as me as well. And fingers crossed, everybody, that this becomes finally
this becomes the key to a brighter future.
Yep, and you know what, though? If I still come in second place, though, make no mistake about it, there's always WrestleMania.
Ooh.
And make no mistake about it, I still win this sucker. I'm cashing this in. This is a bold predicament, and I'm making this statement clear. I will cash this sucker in at WrestleMania.
Wow.
Believe it.
All right. So in the meantime, folks, like I said, if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, you can always email us at wrestlingconnection@gmail.com. You can also catch every one of our present and past episodes, including our 100th episode celebration on the Wrestling Connection channel, as well as the Bedford TV channel on youtube.com. You can always check out our official Facebook page, facebook.com/The Wrestling Connection, and always hit us up on our Twitter at our handle @WConnection. For Zach Martinkus, for Julian Warren, for Julian Trajan, for Mr. Brian Dorrington Jr., and of course, last and certainly least, the WK King of Pay-Per-View Champion, Mr. Greg Dolan. I am your host, Ken Hill, reminding you here at the Wrestling Connection to always be connected, get connected.
Many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm
Supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the Wrestling Connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da da. La da da dee da.
Keep it real, folks. Can't wait to see. Stay tuned for next week.
Paper.
Yeah.
Such a pretty
We
face.
We awesome. We out.